everyone. So today I want to share a book with you which actually I have pre-ordered like months, I think, ago, and it has arrived about a month ago. So yeah, today is the time. I was quite busy with other things and I just didn't come around to find a time to do a review, but here it is. So this is a new book by Jackie Etchr. Here is her name, and it's called Watercolor Mixing Techniques for Botanical Artists. So of course I had to investigate, and I think it's a lovely book. It's not big, so as you can see it's quite thin compared to some of my other books. It's more on a small size, but nonetheless it is filled with a lot of information. Let's start with the contents. So it's been published in 2021, so it's a new book. So contents: introduction, equipment and materials, understanding color and pigments, seeing color and tricky mixes, advanced color application techniques, painting with layers, underlaying color to enhance, color and fine detailing. So I think this book would be great for anyone who's interested in mixing your own colors in watercolor. It's just aimed more towards botanical artists because of the certain colors, but from my understanding, botanical art covers pretty much any color. I mean, if you have this book, one second, I'll just get it. This book here, the flower color guide, you will see that you have flowers from white all the way to black. So it covers basically every aspect of the color. So as you know, greens come in different hues and tones, and the colors themselves range from all of the, all of the existing colors. So yeah, there isn't like, if you say botanical color mixes, it doesn't mean that it's just going to be pink and purples and greens. There's going to be a vast majority of like all the colors that exist. Botanical art covers it, so you would need to know how to mix all of these colors. I mean, look at that. Peaches have like 30 different tones of peaches. Look at this beauty. I mean, it's just stunning. So yeah, for that matter, I think this book could be useful for anyone, literally. Even if you're not into flowers, I think it'd be good to look into this book. Okay, so back to the beginning of the book. Here is the artist, Jackie Etchr. She's obviously a known botanical artist, and yeah, very, very knowledgeable lady. And there is a nice bit of information about the history of color, and obviously the color wheel, and yeah, all the good names: Wolfgang von Goethe, Albrecht Dürer, so all the interesting stuff. So I haven't read it yet fully. I had predominantly flipped through it a few times and I really, really enjoyed the content, but I do want to sit down and read because I feel like this is the book that I would learn from. But like I said, if you are a professional artist, you are very likely to know all of these things already. That would be my guess. Okay, equipment and materials. So we've got the essential equipment. She shares her regular brushes here, which I can see Billy Showell in here. A couple of the Billy Showell brushes. Yeah, the Eradicator. I love the Eradicator. It's such a useful brush. Basically, it's got synthetic bristles, I believe. And what it does is when you make a mistake, you can just wet the brush and use it like a little eraser. So it eradicates the unwanted mark, and in botanical art it's really useful also to do like little highlights and all sorts of stuff. So this is from the Billy Showell brush set, which is just looking at me here. So let me pull it out. So here is the round 2, round 4, round 6, and the Eradicator. So these are real Kolinsky Sable hairbrushes, but Billy Showell also had since come out with synthetic brush set as well. Okay, then we have a color, what looks like Winsor & Newton is the preferred choice. I have noticed this a lot with botanical artists. They do tend to like Winsor & Newton, or I think Billy Showell herself, she enjoys, I don't know whether it's still the case, but back then when I was taking her classes, she was enjoying the Sennelier. And Sennelier meant to be good for layering. But yeah, so here we go. Understanding color and pigment, so that's very useful. And here we go, we've got these color charts. Different brands bring them out, and I have quite a few myself, which I use on a regular basis to refer to the pigment compound of certain colors. So it's really, really useful to have. And you can also obviously check the light fastness and the transparency info. Particularly if you sell your original work, you would want to know that to avoid the non-light fast colors. So we have a fair bit to read here, so I feel it's like a nice little kind of study book, but it's not dry. It's not one of those heavy, informative, you know, super dry books. It's easy to read. I did sort of read it, some areas of it, not all of it, but it seems to read enjoyably, and it is broken down like a study book, so it makes it easier to follow. And so yeah, here is a list of different pigments that are described by their nature. So for instance, burnt sienna, PR 101 is another of my favorite pigments. So PR 101 is actually transparent red oxide, I believe. And let's see what it says here. I love the earthy red tone it has. It has a single pigment color and transparent. It can be mixed with the pigments noted at the end of this section, but to be honest, I would just use it from the tube. One pigment color index is better than one. I would totally agree. I love burnt sienna. It's beautiful. Yeah, and there are exceptions, which I really love the colors as well, that have like a mix, like a convenience mix to them. And then it jumps into, soon it will jump into botanical art. So here's matching ready mixed pigments with primaries. So that's quite useful. So here are Winsor & Newton colors, which looks like she favors, the artist favors, and then there are mixes that the artist enjoys mixing herself, which is, you know, fairly close mixes. They're almost identical in most cases, but it is so much fun to mix. I just did a video, which I just finished, where I mixed my own Payne's Grey, and it was so enjoyable. I can't explain. It was a different experience to just taking it from the tube and squeezing it out, even though I love that Payne's Grey from that particular tube, but something about just mixing your own, yeah, it's like cooking from scratch, you know. There's a difference between putting a ready meal in the oven, which might be still good quality and delicious and obviously convenient and fast, but there is something about cooking your own, you know, sauce and everything from scratch. So yeah, okay, so then we go into, this is still a chapter about understanding color and pigments. So as you can see, it's really loaded with information. Then chapter 3, seeing colors and tricky mixes. Now that's very interesting. So here we have training the brain, recognizing how we see color. So that's all very interesting aspects of color. And then here we have some breakdowns. So this you really have to read. finding those base tones. Where do I start? So that's also very useful in botanical art. But like I said, you can totally apply this same thinking and information to any other art, really. It's just color, isn't it? So color is in everything. So yeah, and then we get loads of examples now with botanical art, so that's quite useful. Chapter 4, Advanced Color Application Techniques. So that would be good for people who are already, you know, have gone through half of the book and have some sort of knowledge about it. So what we have here is underlaying shadows, overlaying shadows. We have color, temperature, transition, and we have a more detailed look at all of the colors, and it sort of breaks down for you. So for instance, cool lilac mix is over here, warm lilac mix is right here, so very close to each other but already a different tone. So this is talking about the color, temperature, and it's the transition diagram, so how color moves around. And then we have chapter 5, painting with layers. So then we have all of the layers, which is quite useful. So you can see it's a hands-on book. It starts off more kind of like, you know, reading material, and you do need to do that if you don't know what color mixing is about or botanical art. So it's quite useful. And then you do look at the practical side of things and start sort of using all of the things you learned. Underlying color to enhance. So this is chapter 6. Yeah, so that's pretty much the book, and then useful tips at the end about pigments and things, and some useful links. So we have historical botanical artists, we have Winsor Newton resources, yeah, books, art supplies, Jackson's art. There we go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed or found this book review useful, and it gave you an idea of what you get. And yeah, the link will be provided down below in the description box as always, so check it out if you're interested, and thanks for watching. See you soon.